Hey yo, it's King Fight News. Let's talk about this VASYL Lomachenko victory over Luke Campbell. Did Loma get exposed in terms of his defense? Did he get hit too much for a guy that's being promoted as the #1 pound for pound in the sport? What is going on? King Fight News, man. We got more on this. Alright, let's get it. Y'all know what it is. Alright, shout out to the brother Other Words and my brother World Breaker. Okay, let's go. Let's go. VASYL Lomachenko against Luke Campbell. Let's talk about it because this was probably his toughest fight since he took his first loss to Orlando Salido. Right? In my opinion, his toughest fight since he took his first loss to Orlando Salido. Now let's take a look at why that is. Luke Campbell, very good amateur pedigree, you know, gold medalist, that's as good as it gets. But when it comes right down to it, Luke Campbell, I believe, was very underrated going into this fight. I mean, he lost to Jorge Linares. Jorge Linares got beat convincingly by Lomachenko. And most people were thinking Loma's going to stop this dude Campbell. Loma's just going to stop him. And you know what? He almost did. But at the end of the day, Campbell did recover. Campbell, fortunately, he did get hurt early, but it was literally in the last 10 seconds of the round. So he was able to recover. Lomachenko, on the other hand, that wasn't the best Lomachenko. And we haven't been seeing the great Lomachenko that was stopping guys, that was forcing them into submission in the lower weight divisions. I'm talking about when he beat Nicholas Walters, when he defeated Guillermo Rigondeaux. And this is what happens as you move up in weight and you try and conquer new territory. It happens to all the great fighters. But the one difference is, a lot of people want to compare Loma to Terence Crawford. They want to compare him to Canelo Alvarez. Oh, he's not pound for pound. Okay. It's a fair criticism. The guy has, what, 14 fights? 15 fights. He's not supposed to be fighting unifications. He's going against the grain. Right? He's going way against the grain. He's not supposed to be going for undisputed at 15 fights. But he is. He's truly on the road to undisputed. So we'll give him credit for that. Terence Crawford, he went down that road. He conquered 140 pounds. Albeit in a weaker division than we've seen in years. You know, at the same time, hey, Victor Postol, he got rid of Lucas Matisse. So Terence Crawford didn't have to get rid of Lucas Matisse. He got rid of Victor Postol. Right? A lot of people thought Victor Postol was going to beat Terence Crawford. A lot of people thought Terence Crawford was ducking Victor Postol. Right? Then he whooped his ass on pay-per-view. So that happened. I saw it. Y'all saw it. Terence Crawford beat the dog shit out of Victor Postol, dominated the fight, knocked him down several times. Right? We'll give him that. And that's at 140 pounds. Terence Crawford came up for 135, 130 if I'm not mistaken. Lomachenko has always had flaws, guys. You know, the amateur record only tells you so much. When you go into the pro game, you're you're more exposed. There's no more headgear anymore. You know, take off the training gear, take off the sparring gear. It's go time. You know, this is especially you're fighting the U.S. You know, tactics are key. Whether it's dirty tactics, whether it's veteran tactics, you're gonna run into that, and those are obstacles you're gonna rarely go and face in the amateur game. Right? You may face them, you may not. But when it comes down to VASYL Lomachenko being called pound for pound the best fighter in the world, he's not. He's not. He's on the road to potentially being crowned that right now. I don't think he's pound for pound best because a guy like Luke Campbell is not the apex of 135 pounds. And he did give Loma his toughest fight. He did give Loma one of his toughest fights. That's a guy that kind of got beat. I don't want to say more convincingly, but he got beat by Linares. You know, close fight, split decision. You know, that was kind of a bullshit fight. You know, Luke Campbell, like I said, give him credit for showing up and trying to get that title off of Lomachenko. Right? Give him credit for that. But for VASYL Lomachenko, I believe this was too competitive for a guy that's supposed to be pound for pound best. I'll put it that way. I'll put it that way. It's too competitive for a guy that's supposed to be pound for pound best. If you're fighting Luke Campbell, you're supposed to fucking, you know, make him look silly in there. And maybe that's a discredit. And once again, you have to credit Luke Campbell. But if Lomachenko's pound for pound number one, he shouldn't have had that many problems with the guy in Luke Campbell. But I thought Lomachenko did win by a comfortable margin. He dealt with some adversity and he came back and he hurt him in the 11th with some brilliant body work. And what I'm saying is Lomachenko's body work is also underrated, man. This dude will kill you to the body before you realize it. But Lomachenko's falling into a trap of being too front forward heavy, and his back foot game is kind of taking a step back. It's taking a step back, and I think that's where Lomachenko needs to sort of go back to his origins. What he did with Gary Russell. His back foot game was insane against Gary Russell. And maybe he did that because he was at such a reach advantage against Lomachenko. But the point I'm trying to make is, in this case right here, VASYL Lomachenko if he can become the undisputed 135-pound champion, he's definitely number 2, number 3, or even number 1 pound for pound best. You know. And I'll tell you why. In my opinion, the best fighter Terence Crawford fought at 140 pounds was Victor Postol. Julius Ndongo fell right off. He fell right off a fucking cliff. You know, as a guy who came off 2 good victories, had 2 belts on his hands, but he fell right off against, like, he just fell off the second he fought Terence Crawford. And then he got beat by Prograis in goddamn 1 or 2 rounds. Or was it 3 rounds? Like, it was easy work. So you know what? I gotta say, Julius Ndongo did not look like a great champion. And it wasn't... It was supposed to be a crowning moment for Terence Crawford. But it's almost like the opposition really took away from that. And Lomachenko, he's still got to go through the winner of Commey versus Teofimo. And that's going to be a very tough fight. And if he gets through that challenge, I think we got to start giving him his credit, for real. I think we got to start giving him his credit for real. Terence Crawford is the #1 pound for pound right now. But he's not at 140 anymore. He's not at 140 anymore. You know, he's at 147 trying to fight the best guys out there. And I think Lomachenko needs to be undisputed. And I think if you could find a way to secure Mikey Garcia, there will be no doubt. There will be no doubt from that fight that he is a pound for pound great. In my opinion. In my opinion. But those are just my thoughts. It's E King Fight News. Hey, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. For more boxing, remember where you heard it first, man.